Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to break down a really powerful idea, one that gets to the heart of what makes leaders and companies truly inspiring. Why is it that some leaders, some brands, they just connect with us? They inspire this incredible loyalty where people feel like they're part of something bigger. Meanwhile, others are just shouting into the void, struggling to be heard. What's the secret? Well, it turns out there are pretty much only two ways to influence human behavior. The first, and by far the most common, is manipulation. We see this stuff everywhere. Price drops, flashy promotions, using fear, or even peer pressure. And look, let's be real. These tactics absolutely can work. They can get you a sale. But here's the catch. There's a massive hidden cost. Manipulation doesn't build loyalty, not one bit. It just creates transactions. Think about the US auto industry for a second. They offered so many cashback deals and promotions that they literally trained customers to never buy a car at full price. People weren't loyal to the brand. They were loyal to the deal. It's a dangerous cycle. Okay, so if that's the short-term game, what's the alternative? Well, there's a simple but incredibly powerful framework that all the great, inspiring leaders seem to use, sometimes without even knowing it. And it's this right here, the golden circle. It's so simple, it's beautiful. At the outer edge, you have your what. Every single company on the planet knows what they do. They know the products they sell or the services they offer. Moving in, some companies know how they do it. This is their unique selling proposition, their special process. But at the very core, that's the why. And very, very few organizations can clearly state why they do what they do. And let me be clear, the why is not about making money. That's a result. The why is your purpose, your cause, your belief. It's the reason you get out of bed in the morning. And here's where the magic happens. See, most of us, and most companies, communicate from the outside in. We start with the clearest thing, our what, and then maybe we talk about our how. But the inspired leaders, the ones that really move us, they do the complete opposite. They think, act, and communicate from the inside out. They always start with why. Let's use an example we all know to make this super clear. Apple. If Apple were just like everyone else, their marketing would start with their what. It would sound something like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? And that's fine. It's uninspiring, but it's fine. But that's not what they do, is it? Here's how Apple actually communicates. They start with why. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed and simple to use. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Whoa, see the difference? One is just selling a product. The other is selling a belief. It feels completely different. And this gets to the absolute core of the whole idea. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The what is just the tangible proof of your why. But why? Why does starting with why have such a massive impact on us? Is this just some clever marketing fluff? Nope, not even close. The answer is pure biology. This is the really cool part. The golden circle lines up perfectly with how our brains are actually built. The what, all the facts and figures, that corresponds to our neocortex. That's the part of our brain that handles rational thought, analysis, and language. But the why and the how, they speak directly to our limbic brain, and that's where the good stuff is. It's responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also where all of our behavior and decision-making comes from. And here's the kicker. Our limbic brain has no capacity for language. That's where we get gut feelings. It's our brain trying to tell us something, but it can't use words. So when a company just gives us the what, all the specs and features, we might say, I think this is the right decision based on the data. But when they communicate the why, we get that gut feeling. We say, this just feels right. But when you can put words to that feeling, when the why and the what are perfectly aligned, that's when you move past thinking and feeling. That's when you can say with absolute confidence, I know this is the right decision. And what all this really taps into is our deep, primal need to belong. As human beings, we're wired to feel safe and trusting with people who share our values and beliefs. A shared why doesn't just make a sale, it creates a community, a tribe. It's the biological source of all trust and loyalty. Okay, let's make this super practical. Imagine you're in the market for a new phone, and two companies are trying to win you over. Company A comes at you with their pitch. Our new phone is incredible. It's got a 50-megapixel camera, 200 gigs of storage, and a brand new, faster processor. They're listing all the features, right? They're speaking to your rational brain. It's all about the what. Then, Company B steps up. They start somewhere else entirely. We believe that technology should be a tool that empowers people to live more freely and creatively. Our new phone is designed from the ground up to be a seamless partner on that journey. Which one pulls you in more? It's not even a contest, right? You can see this pattern all throughout history. Take the race for the first flight. Samuel Langley had everything you could want. He had the funding, the best minds on his team, great press. He was driven by the what? He wanted to be rich and famous. But when he crashed his plane into the Potomac, he just quit. Then you have the Wright brothers. No funding, no fancy degrees, working out of a little bicycle shop. But they had a why. They had a dream. They believed that if they could figure out flight, it would change the course of the world. And that belief inspired their tiny team to do the impossible. So, what's the takeaway here? How do you actually use this? It's a 3-step process. First, you have to find and define your why. What is your purpose, your cause, your core belief? Next, you have to be disciplined about your how. These are the actions you take and the values you live by that bring your why to life. And finally, you have to be consistent with your what. Everything you make, everything you say, everything you do has to be proof of that initial belief. You see, when you start with why, your whole perspective changes. Your competition isn't anyone else out there. The only true competition is who you were yesterday. So let me leave you with this question. What would happen in your business, in your career, in your life, if the goal was no longer to beat everyone else, but simply to advance your own cause? If this idea resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to UNLT. We've got plenty more explainers like this coming your way. Thanks so much for watching.